just so ingrained in my soul.
Interesting.
But this is interesting now. And, you know, Liz was saying on the desk, it's plain Jane kind of map. So when you add that sugar, spice, and everything nice in it, you really get yourself an amazing Powerpuff Girls setup like a Yoru, a Chamber, and a Vice to make things interesting. And why not make things interesting with a fast rush to A?
We'll see if Sad gets that secret ingredient X this time for the proper formula, because was not there over on Lotus, and we said it was going to come down to opening kills. Not all eyes go to Style, the stand-in for his team. Don't get overwhelmed here. This fire player's just creeping up while you still got your smoke in your hand.
Now, Style is the coach normally of Sad. He's got that macro-level brain to know full well these timings, and he certainly puts down that smoke at a good time. Paranoia to boot, denies the entry of Burger Boys immediately.
Alongside those thorns as well, and it's an immediate disengagement. Maybe leave Tillo lurking over towards Wine to clean up the aggression, to clean up the reclear that Style was teasing at, but all in all, this is nice. I am concerned, though, about the mid-hold, right? You have Style rotate over to help Shondex here. You have a good sight lane on top mid for Jarwin. So they should know pretty on this is a rotate, but that's exactly why Burger Boys steer clear. Go back to their spawn.
Jarwin's in a comfortable position. Tillo has reset his recon dart. He's set up for the execute on B side if it happens. No mid control whatsoever.
Haven't cleared any space, though.
I know, but there's not a lot of information either. German's opting
That's
for
why you need
insight.
reclear.
It's a 4-stack, so Sad are looking to retake B.
If they had recleared A, like a dart, a clone, like just a person walking through, they would know, and Bao would not be alone for this 5-person hold. And there's no gate crash either.
I know Bao's putting himself in essentially in a death-only position. He's got to be good for one before he falls. Timing, you're right, 10 seconds left. He's good for one, that's retro. Bao may have succeeded in doing his job. The spike still goes down, but the rest is yet to be seen. Sad have 2 left alive now. Styles taking some damage, and Shondex needs to show up here. He's got his headhunter set up and ready. Style is showing off, but unfortunately, now it's just Shondex to be the last one left. Onus is on him. He was the win condition, Zobi! And yet through it all, Burger Boy still take the first round.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it boils down to 2 players alive, I think is a testament to Sad and maybe cleaning up that coordination, because they definitely got outplayed with that gamble rotation over towards A. But all in all, I gotta highlight Bao. You mentioned the win con. We mentioned he did his job. He was a solo anchor against 5 players. That's also such up for him, mind you. He gave away the omen he typically plays on this to Style. He stepped into Doggo's shoes too. Honestly, Doggo's best role was that Vice on this map up against SRG in that super dominant 13-5. So all this to say, it's gonna take some growing pains, especially on the defense with this double sentinel. Now, I mean, they've lost the first pistol yet again. We'll see what they can pull out with the Bao Sheriff, with some early util reclearance, it looks like.
Good hit.
I think your golden point last round was talking about the lack of reclearing from Welly on A side. That would have given enough information to know about the B rotate. We do see a recon bolt outside B. It's a good start. But through it all, it is just gunfight city. Tillo removes Derwin. That is back A-side control gone. Your Yoru to disrupt the information is not available anymore, Zobi. And yet, through it all, a clone trips up Style.
I mean, he's holding close, have to. Pray to the RNG, right? Classic gods here. Hope they respawn. In the meantime, though, again, it's just not ending on the site you're showing presence on, especially on Eco, right, when they have to gamble heavy stacks, playing team fights, playing team numbers, or playing timing, like Bao was just found.
Okay, Bao's good for one. Nanners is gone. No post-plant smokes available for the attackers now. That could be an advantage, but look at Sad's inventory. They have nothing but classics and barely any HP to go with it. A body disadvantage, a weapon disadvantage, an everything disadvantage, and Burger Boys cleanly take B again.
Just steamrolling their way on there. A bit difficult when your Vice is playing off, but I did see, again, there wasn't too much all in there from Sad, which was nice to see. Granted, it's with an eco, but this is the round where everything went wrong on Lotus. They have the buy they want. They have the 3rd round at Odin for Welly again. Fade or Sova, Lotus or Ascent, it does not matter. And they just have to ensure that nothing slips through. And I will say, this bonus, to me, the weapons that are in hand for Burger Boys looks a little scary, right? Retro Headhunter gonna buy up a Vandal if they win this. I thought Bonnie was gonna follow through Phantom, but it's actually Practo. So this is just full impact here, and you've gotta be careful not get cut off on 1vx situation.
I mean, just thinking ahead, Burger Boys, if they just go nothing but kills this round, they are going to be racking up ultimate after ultimate for future rounds ahead. Can't say the same for Retro, though. He's the first to fall. No tour de force early on. But Bonnie, however, that dimensional drift is only one away. Not going to quite be the case, though. Sad have only lost one body this past round. And Zobi, I think you're onto something. A very different turn of events from Lotus.
Really, really nice hold there, especially with all the util that we saw. Pairing to flush out the A main angle. I really liked that entry actually from Nanners cooked up with the sight dark cover. So you're kind of replicating and substituting what your dive duelist would look like with this composition. But again, the immediate rotation, the high lows, not being able to dislodge style from Hell as well, as he's definitely found his footing here on Ascent, a little bit more standard of a map of a zone. It's looking really clean there, and that's how you get your footing, how you have a close map. But again, was a bonus, so Burger Boys ride up, they buy back up. You had the dimensional drift to maybe set up a play, which is probably why Bunny is a stinger.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone but one bought up. And I think all eyes need to be on Bonnie. He's going to be the kingmaker this round to set up these plays. A big wide swing in mid shuts down the opportunities to swing back. Jerwin, though, chose not to be discovered early. It's an early trade, but again, Nanners is gone, losing your Omen before an execute. How are you going to get on site and take back that space?
Very, very difficult here, I will agree, but it's where the dimensional drift comes in. You want to backstab players that are slowly but surely clearing. B main, this is smart. You know the split's coming. You have to take space somewhere, or at least stay undetected with the dark cover.
Bow! Bow! Oh no! Shondex is there to save the day. Bow pulled out something scary. Shondex is gone too. And now, a 2v2. Welly has plenty of reclear utility, and the hunt is on for the backstab.
Still device wall though, right? Because Practice alive, they're gonna know at least one is coming from main, and there comes the trigger.
Thorns are alive.
They don't know where Bonnie is.
Time is to be everything.
Fracto sitting and waiting. Arc Rose still available. Welly, Recon Bolt available. Backside again, still don't know where Bonnie's location is! That style gone! Smokes to the backside, not a possibility. Welly's got to rush on in. A 2v1. Knows where Practo is. Has to take this fight. Rush immediately before it's a 2v1. Welly does so. A headshot. Practo gone. Bonnie now left alive. 1v1. No util at all, but he's got the advantage. The high ground goes to Bonnie.
And honestly, I was watch party the other day with Kip, who's a coach of a team that's going to be competing tomorrow, with Flash, who's another player in the space, and we were all joking that Flash that we just saw from Bonnie at a CT, he used it on the defense to support his backside boat player. The fact that he's able to use it on the attack as well in a post plan after dimensional drift set him up in that position is absurd. So really, really nice angle found there to support your team, even when you're playing safe, playing for that backstab that you mentioned can make or break the round. Keg. All that cements Burger Boys a nice lead here, a nice buy to disrupt the economy again for Sad, except for Welly. Uncharacteristic Odin to complement the rest of his team's ecos. And Practo, if we get this Outlaw online and you trap Sad in a light shield, regen shield purgatory, you cannot get any footing.
Speaking of footing, though, this Yoro clone's going on the expedition of a lifetime. What will he discover? Not much.
Okay. Little Alodron reclear, little A split setup for the time being. No follow through though. Again, just poking, prodding, seeing what they can find, what they can isolate. They know Odin's B side now. That's a huge win. And Welly wants to know how much is truly lurking here in the market for sale.
Now here's the thing though, Welly, with that uncharacteristic Odin that you pointed out, Zobi, you are against very sprayable walls here for your Burger Boys. You're probably not expected to go up against an Odin here, but Welly backs away. He doesn't take the chance.
Nobody CT. A reclear coming from Jarwin, but he has a Sheriff. And there's 3 players, so even if he took one, which he's not going to find because he doubles back to Tree.
Oh, this is Safety City.
Such a difficult position for Sad to get themselves out of. I mean, even here, is Bao visible? Is he vulnerable from main?
I don't know, but the smoke is down. There it is, caught off guard. Welly, though, the Odin's still available. They don't know that he's backed away. But Game Sense tells you there's got to be someone in the back. It can't be that easy. 14 seconds left. That's one mode down. Tillo there for the trade. Shondex is with the rest of his team. Little Yoru can't find much. It's Jerwin to fall alongside his doppelganger. And Shondex, like, what do you do? It's just a headhunter against the entirety of Burger Boys.
Yeah, at this point, maybe try and go for a retake game on this B site.
Now look.
Or also, Bao's being so fluid. He's not playing with a setup. He's playing aggressive as soon as contact's made. I haven't seen him play like Doggo does. Doggo plays lane, waits for the wall to get tripped, and get the rest of the round playing out there against Sean Dex against the world, like you mentioned. Nash gets a quick cleanup. Burger Boys get another round. And again, it feels like the little minute role swaps they made to accommodate style just has thrown off their game plan, how they have played this map in a successful fashion, in dominant fashion.
That's
in
right.
instances where they've won Ascent, and that's my big concern here. And, well, a great attempt there, honestly. If he got the transfer, that could have been a done and dusted round on the time game. But even then, the rotates come through late. It's, again, duos and trios at max, not the full impact of the team. That's
right, because we've gone from Jawa to Doggo to Style now. That's a 3-player swap in a very short amount of time. And Sad have had a hard time accommodating that style of play, pun intended. Shondex falls immediately.
The only silver lining there is they did play a LAN with Style, actually, recently. But even then, a few months ago, even then, they weren't down 4-1 on the opposing map pick. And Jarwin, we saw him try to take a cat fight previously. Now the wrap is cut off. Everything, again, that Sad is trying, even in 1v1s, is being lost.
Last player standing.
And at this point, there's really not much you can do. Welly.
Shouldn't be losing that, though.
Yeah, it's a tough scenario to be in, Zobi.
Well, he's just trying to save. Right? The one that had the good econ, the one that was able to force up and still buy regardless. You have to try and re-clear space to hold on to this rifle, but they're encroaching from every angle.
Welly, good for one. A little bit of economy in the pockets of Sad, I suppose. And, like, I get that you have your coach playing with you right now. But
no timeout?
Yeah, surely you'll at least, take a break, right? For just a second.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hey, they listened.
Hey, look at that.
We got hit the nail on the head. And I think
Burger
that
Boys
comes...
timeout.
No, there's no way. I mean, there's a world because they have 4 ultimates, and we'll get communication on whose timeout it is soon. But I think it's because they're coming up with a major strategy change here. And also their money is, if you look at it, majorly desynced. You have Shondex, who can afford a full shield operator. And on the other hand, you have Welly and Jerwin, who can barely buy a no-shield Vandal. Right? Like, it is absurd. Like, how... they're not on the same page in terms of money, in terms of strategy. That one round they won on the bonus denial for Burger Boys, long in the past, where they were just complete links in the same chain. At this point, they're fortunate this is for seeding, and they're almost playing like that, where it is very low stakes. Well, they don't care about who the opponent is tomorrow. I mean, I'm not saying they're hiding strats by any mean, but again, that is an approach. I think Liz mentioned on the desk how it's a double-edged sword when you're showing off your most played maps, and this is one that has been played less by this team, and also they didn't win a single time they played it in VCL Stage 3. It was 2 losses. So, again, maybe try to keep it in the dark. Again, this is also maybe a takeaway from seeing the mirror composition for the first time in the server of this Vice chamber. There's so much that could be leading to this downfall right now.
Well, outside that one smoke in mid, it's going to be a trap-style play inside a mid-site.
I like it. Yeah. Little change.
I like it too. However, little Cloney might be able to be the fall victim of it, but unfortunately, though, everyone does back away.
Alright. And again, it's this confident re-clear from players like Retro, players like Bonnie just playing solo and winning their engagements. I mentioned how they were decent on the buy, so we saw them sell the operator, they reset back to full eco weapons. I was hoping Shondex would be the one with the Marshall there, right? Can play the rendezvous, can play that angle, but Handhunter goes awry, you get some chip damage, you have to disengage. This, though, is nice. It's not Style alone that can get overwhelmed by a Paranoia. It's a crossfire with Jerwin that set forth off the Paranoia!
Oh, unfortunate there off the hands of the clone. Jerwin removes Retro. A good start. Very scrappy style plays, though. A Marshall is the best weapon that we see in the hands of Welly. Shrouded Step is called, and the defenders back away. A-site, going to be the point of contention off the hands of the drone. Tillo's been discovered. Last one left. Nothing but a Vandal to work off of in the hands of this timeout. Tillo might be able to make some heroic work. Welly's there for the trade. Sad finally get their second round.
Feels very reminiscent of their first win over on Lotus via a Thrifty, and that one, I believe, was without a timeout as well. So again, the big picture of everything that I spewed could be going wrong for SAD, it did feel like they used it as a resync opportunity, both in terms of how they took engagements, evident by how we saw Welly and Style trade each other out, down to, again, hey guys, our buy's off. Someone's buying a full shield operator while we can't even afford glass cannon rifles. So on the same page economically, now ult-wise, this round is going to be absolute chaos keg and set the pace for the rest of the half. Burger Boys will hit their 6th, their safety net, or SAD will start to close up that gap.
I would like a change of pace. This has been uncharacteristically slow for both these teams.
Absolutely.
Burger Boys have been prodding a lot more, being experimental with the approaches, probably recognizing that SAD need to change up their pace and play aggressive. And that's exactly how Jerwin's the first to fall.
Yeah, I think he wanted a challenge before that wall got deployed from Practo, but he's just on top of it. The immediate arc rush follow to ensure that there's not more players there as well. And spots out a second, so they know not to pivot back, not to speed up for a B exit after that initial kill. They still poke and prod over towards A with a small switch up here as well. Shondex wanting Heaven, the trademark instead of 2 players towards Tree. Thunder Fury is aimed to widen everything or get that information, that advantage back, but I don't even think it connected. Provided too much.
He's got that dimensional drift. That should be the entry point. Practo's gone. Don't have to worry about him anymore. But guess what? It's SAD! He continues it forwards. It was a paranoia out. Massacre everywhere. And Shondex at the hands of the double up into a headhunter has nearly brought things even.
Really, really effective there. And I might have misspoke there. I saw some chip damage. Maybe the Hunter Fury saw them there. So as a result, you don't rotate, you hold the line. Shondex even repositions for Tree instead of for Heaven, understanding that heavier presence than expected. And this paranoia as well from Sio, just perfect there to set up those 2 players together. So they finally kind of stop them at the door. They do it with, you know, only a few ults, so I like the pacing here as well. It wasn't as explosive of every ult thrown into the pile to see what sticks here.
Oh no.
What do you see?
Bonnie, Bucky, dimensional drift mid. Shondex might be in trouble.
That's why you got a rendezvous here. At least that's the ideal.
Luckily though, Jerwin's also there to help with a potential trade. Jump peek.
Not gonna re-clear this though. They were aware Nanners could be on that elevated right side position. Okay, TP away. Whew, I was getting nervous for Shondex there on this deep angle again.
Nowhere to run.
Bonnie brings out the dimensional drift. Just a matter now of seeing who his target's going to be.
You said it.
Disengage! There it is! The classic right click! No Bucky needed!
And he had the shorty out. The shot's connected. I do not know how Bonnie gets away with 7 HP, but they're not stopping just there. They're opening up the site. They're taking down, or at least challenging the Sentinels. Here we go. Back together. Grouped up here. I like the pivot out of Burger Boys here. Great use of Jerwin there to patch up the hold on the site.
Oh, that's awkward.
That's a great anti. That's your macro that you mentioned out of Style. And he knows that, hey, I'm stuck wide. They know I'm wide. They're going to util up me. I get out of dodge. I play retake with my team here.
And all the while, though, Burger Boys telegraphed exactly what they want to play for the final seconds into the round.
Ooh,
Practo, Steel Garden's available. Just needs the perfect timing to make sure you can capture everybody and play off that timing. Look exactly where Nanners is at. He's watching for the cross mid, but no one will be there. He's late off the timings, and that's going to give SAD a body advantage. It's just a matter now of capitalizing, and it looks like Tree back into the control of SAD. A reverse Steel Garden has been brought out. That's going to be Practo's. Shutting things away. All the while, the Odin spraying and certainly praying, looking for anything they can. Jerwin's down below, notices the barrel, Practo's gone. It leaves it to Bonnie. Had the first kill, but not the last.
And that is the well-oiled machine that we expect out of a supply and demand chain, out of a SAD Esports. I mean, they played their own timing, they respected the Steel Garden out of Burger Boys as well, and they covered every base. From, like we mentioned, the well-placed lurk timing out of Nanners, to even just the spray down out of Welly, who's normally an Odin abuser in the server, just off their recon clears gen. Every player did their job down to a T. And I said I wanted to see a 5-person retake, and they gave it to me. I expected it towards B, and addressing how they were getting steamrolled there by the Yoru, but I'll take it on A, and I'll take it off those ults, because now we are 1 round away from getting tied up here on Ascent.
And Shondex doesn't have to worry about the dimensional drift anymore. It can take a more aggressive angle outside B main.
That's a huge mid-fight one.
Wow.
That's your info, Nick, gone.
Yeah.
Cover going up.
Now you got to rely on someone like Bonnie to maybe clone and find an angle to shoot out.
Ooh,
for your information.
They didn't get the wall up. 3 players about to clear Practo.
That's one.
Oh, no.
Spotted at least another for the double swing. May not know about a third. Doesn't matter though. Practo, aggressive fight. Loses it out to Bao.
Okay, you shut down the B main control. You've shut down a mid fight. They basically shut down any B split attempts. So the stabilization is focused towards A. Lean heavy into tree to Bonnie, Nanders, and a util dump. Rely upon solo clear out of retro here over towards A main. And Welly, this is what his standard usually looks like these last 2 rounds. 3
I was
rounds.
gonna say, you're down to your bare essentials. You had your flash, you have your smokes, and you have your killing factor to get onto a site, but the flashes are gone.
30 seconds left.
Smokes are still available, only by 1.
No.
Retro set up and ready. Welly takes him down. Styles there for the trade.
There was a world where Retro gets insane trigger discipline timing and transfers from Welly over to Style and cracks that round wide open. But a quick flick to patch up the holes. Great calm there comes through. And we are tied at 5 apiece in battle proceeding, but important because it determines your opponent between Alliance Angels and Team Slat. So, time being, I don't know how I feel about the double operator. Shondex and Jarwin both, one A main, one presumably B main. Maybe you can punish Practo in this manner off the Arcros, and that seems to be the play.
Like an 1800s musket strat. That being said, though, I wanted to mention the stats. Bonnie has over double the kills of anybody else on his team. He's been able to find instrumental killing impact in the server, but Jerwin's the first to fall. That's 1 of 2 ops gone. Welly, of course, is the next to fall on top of that. That's going to be 2 of the 3 major playing weapons gone off the hands of Sad.
Yeah, I think Burger Boys realized, okay, we're letting solo players, like last round, we let solo Tilo take the fight, engage mid, he got punished. So if we roll up the entire team, we're guaranteed to get those openers and that advantage before leaning towards a site. Now the regroup here. Now that they've gotten those mid kills as well, they can prime themselves for a nice split here. Got the deep wall as well. They're waiting now for Sad to, again, carefully fight forward to try and take an aggro play, take a chance at getting things close once again. I like them playing back. This is what I asked of Bao. I said, hey, play like Doggo was. Play for your wall. Play for your Thorns contact. Play to punish them on the choke. I think that's why Burger's slowing down. They're like, oh, they're not fighting forward. They're not taking the bait. And unfortunately, because you lost 2 players, you have to rely upon Shondex in this.
Oh, Shondex, okay. There it is, a second 1-2, mid-flash, hit with another on the teleport, the rendezvous, 10 seconds are left, play for the stall. Shondex may have succeeded somewhat. Another paranoia is out now. Practo does get the spike in the ground, but it is a risk. A shorty at that though, shuts it down. Burger Boys have reclaimed their throne.
And 2 things. 1, I said over on the last thing expect is the Tillo breach lurk. Well, how about the Tillo Sova lurk? He cut off that extra player rotating out of B that would have been everything. And I think it happened simultaneously to the decision for Style to try and get ahead, play off of his paranoia, get that cheeky play in the 1v2, and that honestly was the tipping point of the round. Literally, it happened so fast in such quick succession that he realized he had to take a one-on-one while someone's planting, and just the fact that Nanos was able to win out that, not as flashy in the kill department as he's been, but that impactful kill on his own. A third of what he's had so far, and now they're guaranteed a 6. Sad fighting to tie things up off the gate off of Shondex here again. Aggressive wine positioning off the one way, but they fall off too early. They're again second guessing themselves like over on Lotus, and now he has to win this fight, this angle.
I think he may have heard a footstep.
He doesn't have the rendezvous anymore though, because he repositioned away from A main.
But the smokes are there to help with the reposition, or maybe just playing for his life. Shondex now watching 2 angles at once. It's up to Style to make sure A site can be safe for Shondex. The Burger Boys have been slow in the early rounds. Style may have recognized that, and he's willing to take that aggressive potential to slow down Burger Boys and make them waste their util to get on site.
Well, he's the one that plays contact here, right? And then the Vice Thorns get popped immediately since they play the split util. And then he probably just sprays down or paranoias as well, so he can catch a player off in the dark cover. But here's the speed up. Here's where he's truly going to get challenged in Shondex and his pivot ability as well through tree. Simultaneously, though, the plan B options were taken off the table. Now they have to go away. There's 30 seconds left.
Absolutely no time to waste whatsoever. Into the teleport. Style set up and ready. The game sense is coming back. His brain is just growing bigger and bigger with every second. And through it all, Shondex's positioning is great. The rendezvous returns. And Bonnie, yes, he does have site control. The spike is not in the ground just yet. And through it all, Bonnie attempts the stall for time. But there's certainly no stall here as we go 6-6 to the second half.
Switching sides.
Wow, battle there again. High risk, high reward. You're solo swinging, you lose that engagement, and Jerwin has to play a 1v2, but that's the other end. You get both. You get the glory, you get the 6-6 tie, and I've got to circle back to Style. Just night and day from map 1. Really, really comfortable here. That's why they made the sacrifice to put him on the Omen and switch Bowel's device. And literally picked up on, hey, this dark cover, the Omen TP's into it. That's their dive that I mentioned prior. And they did not make that mistake again. So really, really smart re-clear there. Unfortunately, did get pinged out and sprayed down, but it bought just enough time for the rotations. So coming to this half, 6-6, a lot better gag than a 10-2, I'll say surely. And I think it was Dread that mentioned you're really attack side with this composition, or you want to be with those chambers, with those contacting, opening up the map. And I didn't see that approach at the Burger Boys. They mentioned how uncharacteristically slow they were for this composition. So curious to see how Sad play it in the mirror.
Yeah, it was a lot more uncomfortable seeming in the early rounds than we saw back on Lotus, and it certainly affected the late round too. Nanners, though, does take that early contact, not able to connect too much on his own end, but Sad, though, you would imagine probably going to be much faster these engagements.
It's the hope, and I mean, sure fast to take tree, but the reclear from Retro is immediate, and Jerwin was alone, but it doesn't matter. The first half was a fluke. He finds two, he finds the opening, and the direct inlet towards the ace side, but Bonnie takes a bold challenge and comes away boisterous as a result.
2 left alive now for the attack. Spike is out. Welly cannot play for any shock darts whatsoever. A recon bolt is available, though, for at least information off of the ping.
Paranoia, too.
That's right. This will be good for stall. Practo's got an arc rose. Just a matter of seeing.
Where does he want to use it?
Oh, I don't know.
Take your wine, get left, right side information. But this one way is so hard to deal with.
Paranoia misses. Frenzy can't connect much. Distance is not its friend. There's a recon bolt out. Another distraction factor. Timing, timing. Well, he's good for 3.
Really, really well played post plant there out of Sad, and I think it exemplifies that kind of exploratory nature that we saw from them in the first half. The Burger Boys recognized and was playing around. And once again, we go first half pistol to Burger Boys, second half pistol to Sad, but very different stakes this time around because you have just lost the lead with it. So great momentum shift. Very kind of reminiscent of the comebacks we saw after they had a rougher start here. And again, I think that was just the growing pains of Style and Bao falling into their roles with this role substitution. So now that they've found that momentum, now they're on a half, they're driving it, they get to make the choices, set the tempo. Shondex gets to be that opener with the Outlaw. This is character. So we didn't see Retro with the Outlaw much, but Shondex and the Outlaw, it's gonna be prevalent. Here we go.
It was scary on Sunset yesterday! We just sunset Bonnie for the round! Oh my, there it is, another meltdown. But what through that all, it's only Retro to get at least one. It's not a flawless round anymore. Nanners is the sole survivor, and he may be good to take out Style here, but even then, damage has been done.
Style has like a spidey sense, bro.
I'm telling you, man, he's got that, the brain just keeps, like,
that would've been a
it gets wrinklier every round.
And that would have been a Vandal down. That could have been terrible. Nanners could have taken that, thrown it out of the map, even used that to clutch out the round. So huge spidey sense to re-clear there and realize there could have been a timing through A main. But in the meantime, the way they are able to, again, use Shondex to contact up with the Outlaw, find an opener. He's usually good for 2, so the fact that he isn't there is number 1 crazy. Number 2, the fact that Bao was able to get that deep of a vice wall that then inadvertently traps the aggro play from Burger Boys, masterclass outplay. So Sad back to, I feel like, a confident showing here right now, and that's where things are going to get dangerous for Burger Boys. They're going to burn the patties.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope and see if the lettuce and tomatoes will make up for it, though. It's going to be a smoke inside of mid, an early pick gone. That's Bonnie removed. All the while, though, lock and key on A and B site. Mid could very well be opened up from here on out. No spike in the hands of Sad.
Ooh, we need to shoot that clone. Trademark now gone.
Adventure of a lifetime for old Cloney there. This could be a reset into a mid split.
I think this is
just a standard
follow
hit.
through. Yeah, especially with that opening kill. That's Paranoia gone. It's all gonna fall upon Retro.
This is looking good though. Tillo through the smoke attempts to pull off what Welly can do with that Odin. It's not quite the same weapon or the circumstance.
Alright. How do they play the post? You saw previously. So
I
plays
think-
off, plays for the util. They don't have to worry if they're gonna how they play the post because Burger Boys have called the save. Tillo may be playing for some eco damage, maybe for the read dart. But all in all, I might expect a Burger Boys timeout after this.
Yeah, I was about to mention that was a very quick call. That's got to be a lot of comms right now coming from the team being like, all right.
This is also your
start
pseudo
here.
timeout as well. Just
Yeah.
all the time for the round left. Alright, what went wrong? I mean, Nanos got caught out on an island. It wasn't that coordination we saw from, I feel like, Style and Shondex really on that A-hold, so maybe some resync there. We need aggressive, take some main space, look the site if they're coming that heavily through tree, because honestly, it's been a very heavy commitment, right? There's been kind of, yeah, Shondex to re-clear through main at times, but feels like something that can be exploited towards that side of the map.
And
Otherwise,
that's why I
yeah.
was thinking like, okay, maybe this is a mid split because I'm just so used to seeing Burger Boys play where they have that sort of position to execute, but then they'll slink away and reset to a different angle. But SAD don't do that.
No, absolutely. They have that space, they're taking it and using it to convert it into a round and looking to in the 10th. That's something else. Burger Boys, I think we haven't really seen them challenge mid too handily, right? We had the late rat from Nanas when the round was basically already decided, but they're not fighting this art space. They're not fighting out Tree Cat. They don't have any trap place for tiles, etc. And I think SAD is just capitalizing off of that round after round. I mean, they literally walked up. No deep dart bottom mid, no nothing, and there's no challenge either. Even that dart, I think, just got destroyed. So they don't know how many players are here.
It's the personal timings off of SAD that has worked so well. Style, man.
Again, just a soul read. Nanners has such a hard time against their clone, their mirror match right now. And honestly, Burger Boys made the exact adaptation that I wanted. I wanted them to flip the site. I wanted them to play for A main control so they can keep this tree control under wraps, but it's just been expunged. Look at the chamber lurk while they're simultaneously working on market.
You know what? Every man for himself at this point. SAD, they're feeling their confidence again on the individual level. Tillo looking to challenge outside marketplace, needs to help out his teammate towards stairs. Bao eventually does fall, but Welly uses this time to reposition.
Look at
Shondex
Retro.
from the back, E2 Brute goes for the Caesarian stab, and it's gonna be SAD now to take themselves into double digits.
And Keg, I know this is a set, but I'm getting Sunset flashbacks. We watched that the Purist game. Do you remember how they would have like players across every single part of the map and they never got punished for it?
Well, it's
that
funny.
was super representative of that.
Because that started working against them, though, remember? Because they would go for a timeout and be like, okay, look, we can't just go for these random lurks anymore. We gotta dial it back and go for the fast commits. But SAD had cleaned it up.
That was chaotic, though. I mean, if Style falls there, that's spike down on A, your entire team on B, and not a lot of time to react. So, guess something to keep in mind here, but we shouldn't be harping on them. They're the ones up 10-6. We need an answer from Burger Boys. And Retro had a great timing there over towards A, just lost the 1v1, so I liked the developments from Burger Boys there, minus again the lack of mid-controller presence, which is why they now have Retro there instead of A. They switched him with Bonnie. And in the meantime, again, Sad's the one to make the switch up, saying, hey guys, you might finally crack the code on mid and A. Let's just go for a pretty death ball off the Dimensional Drift.
Wall goes up. Derwin's ult goes down. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out now. That's full B-side control. Spotting out nobody in the back. Shondex attempts to go forward. Operator still in hand. Needs to be so careful. Yet through it all, Tillo shuts down two of the main forces attacking onto the site. But even then, though, has switch control. Style still waiting in the back. 5 seconds timing. No smoke available. Derwin from behind needs to help out from B-main. Timing now. Welly good for one. Retro falls. Welly unlucky. It's Tillo on track for an ace. Derwin from behind looking to help out and play off of Style. Style needs to go for a shrouded step, but Tillo gets a fourth. Could this be Tillo's chance for an ace? Paranoia is out. Recon bolt scans him out. Derwin has nowhere to go, no utility to use, and Nanners denies the ace opportunity.
Yeah, unfortunately down 10-6, you don't have the luxury of trying to give the ace, but you can give the defuse, give them that Hunter's Fury. And honestly, that round was so clean out of Burger Boys. Partially, I think, attributed to SAD, maybe invest in Hunter's Fury a bit too early instead of playing it in the post, but particularly, I gotta point out, what was it? The Nanner stair smoke that allowed Tillo to get out of that CT choke. You saw him play out of it, like you mentioned, to re-clear that switch space. He clearly caught the SAD players off guard, and then Really, the flash comes in late from sight from Jerwin, so then he wins the exchange. You know, very sillily against Welly over towards main, but mentioned huge round out of Tillo. Keeps Burger Boys on the road to cover here. 3 more rounds to go. And they're keeping the changes they made in terms of retro posted up mid. They're leaning a bit away from A. They're playing more retake-centric like I asked from Sad last half. And I do like that approach as well here if Nanners needs to get out.
But that's 3 deep inside mid, shut down by a single smoke. And we haven't seen Sad approach mid too much.
Just take the cat space. They don't fight through arches. And I think that's exactly why Burger Boys took that space, held it for information, but are now happy to give up the A site and play this retake, right? And I think that is the game plan here, tried and true. You can deny Spike for Tillo off the Hunter's Fury. You have Dimensional Drift from Bonnie for the retake. That's exactly the game plan here if they follow through on this A split.
And that must be the idea from Burger Boys too, right? Like, okay, we're comfortable taking retakes. We think Sad are going to adjust and push mid. We got to hold this mid space and shut down any sort of that conditioning.
I mean, last time, again, they literally were pushing Respawn. They had Chamber through Tree also.
But we don't
This
like to
is
talk about
early, though. They need the information, right? There's 35 seconds left, and they had no contact anywhere on the map. It's bold, but I like it. It's framed them now for this B split, I would think, but
30 seconds left.
again, it's going to be pure reliance on your Vice. Practo, your characteristic Vice setup here, funneling off the wall, off the choke. But this is the unaccounted variable. The Steel Guarded, so you don't have a weapon to deny this space.
Oh, Jerwin, unlucky. Fell into a vat of poison ivy. There's nothing you can do here if you're Sad. You just fell into an instant death trap, but oh, wow. Truly unlucky. 7 seconds left. Yeah, I mean, you have to, right? But that adjustment from Burger Boys to take that retake space was so smart.
Absolutely. Again, they gamble towards the B side. They trust in the fact that, hey, we can retake on the A side if it comes down to it. And I really liked it at 35 seconds as well. They weren't hasty. They invested that Hunter's Fury immediately 3 clear. And they knew what was happening so that you could get Tillo and Bonnie posted up to capitalize off of that Vice setup because we had Practo caught out by the Steel Guard. So again, just quick little adjustments that have lasting impact to put them 2 rounds now away and 1 round away from breaking the bank on Sad as well. So this round I think will determine if we get a 10-10 tied game or not, Keg, too.
Do you think that might affect Bonnie's timing on the Dimensional Drift? Is he going to go super deep into the back lines to try to get rid of someone like Sean Beck, keep that bank alive? Oh! Well, with Tillo gone, you need information.
That was a little bold. I said, guys, I like the retake. I like you playing on the Vice setup, but they fight in front of the wall. I think he was trying to trip that forward wall that I mentioned about and just got caught by the spray. So again, nice bait, nice trap. We saw the pistol, but Bonnie's the player that I wanted to see. And
Oh,
the other team's here.
Oh my, retro! 2-for-1 deal.
You saved the op again. 1v3. I mean, Practo's low, but Nanners has the proper timing for the backstab. Again, through mid.
It reminds me about how at the beginning of this map we were talking about this is a mishmash of every year of Valorant's Ascent meta. I would always complain about defensive jet opping because you would just find almost no presence sometimes retaking A or B site. The opposite's happening with Shondex right now. There's not much of a mid presence. Shondex isn't finding value off this up because there's no big rotations where he would see it.
Now, in the back of my head while you were finishing your point, I thought that this had to be the time for the Sad timeout personally. Again, I mentioned this is the make or break point. I was thinking about that and I was like, it's kind of hard again because it feels like Burger Boys, they've been coming up with perfect changes, perfect adaptations. I mentioned particularly around Retro's positioning and where he could have the most impact on this chamber and keeping this space for his team, and playing market was brilliant. And Sad just have been really slow for those uptakes. It was the problem over on Lotus in PRS. Today, they never came up with a solution. And now they're hitting that similar kind of tar. They can't sludge their way through it anymore, and it's catching up to them, particularly in terms of the rounds that Burger Boys has now on the scoreboard. So, style, right? You're in the action, you're playing. You can't mull it over a few rounds in the back end, watching, listening. You have to have this stop moment to then think it through as a team and come up with a path forward. Because right now, I mentioned it, that was the make or break round where you're entering an eco now for Sad. It should be a 10th for Burger Boys. So if you can stop that here now out of a one-off play, that does set you up for success. That does bring Corrode into the peripheral. I think that's what they're hoping to achieve
You
here.
want to play?
Is okay,
Let's
B does
play.
not work. We need to go back to the A split that was working. My concern is look at Retro. Confidence and Dude playing aggressively here
Ooh.
towards Cubby. Should have been able to get the opener.
And now the chamber's been discovered. Jerwin
what a
falls.
spray.
Enterability is not going to be a case anymore for Sad, or certainly not an easy way of doing it. And speaking of the sprays, you're completely right, my friend. That's Welly taking so much damage.
Jerwin was found first blood as well. This is bold though. Sad, I feel like as soon as they realize where our players, they're trying to punish them, expecting them to be alone, expecting them to be unsupported, right? We saw it give them the Tillo kill, but then it punished them on the Practo.
Oh, come on!
Spray down. That is
Okay, there we go.
unfortunate.
It was a 6-6 half Sobi. And the fact that we saw Sad play so fast, so aggressive, so in your face
That's so
against
early.
Burger Boys gave them that advantage.
Not saying this is a mystery just yet out of Nanners, but it does track that as soon as they get a kill towards that side of the map, Sad is typically sped up. But 2 kills towards mid-market, it didn't matter. They're working towards A. They're working towards Retro
Shondex
here.
is not watching for 3.
seconds left.
Nobody is. Shondex now has to watch 2 angles at once. You chase 2 rabbits, you lose them both, but
And now you
Retro's
play
good for
rotate.
1. Backs away, smoked out completely, cannot watch A main anymore. But little does he know, they've already snuck in. One's on Generator, the other, of course, Generator as well. But now A main could be his undoing. Retro's forced to back away. He's got to go for a raw snipe through the walls and hope for the best, but he cannot find impact.
Bouncy shock darts galore, even more chip damage found. I liked that Retro played for his team here. Practo needs to get this opening kill, though. That would be the Steel Garden online, which they don't know that style, and Welly didn't pick up their weapons. But this paranoia is everything right now.
But look at the weaponry. A single Vandal. Welly's at 3 HP with a Sheriff.
Last player
Oh, but
standing.
there it is! The Vandal's gone! It's Welly
An
versus the world.
operator.
1v1. He's a perfect headshot, but
No
even
one
then,
else
Retro,
could do this.
aggressive as ever.
Ooh. It is so close. I don't think they have time, Keg! And they don't! 0.37 seconds short! The time it took for Retro to switch from that operator to that Vandal, get that pesky 7 HP left over for Welly. A huge round, a huge eco found by Sad, and the exact culmination of that timeout that we mentioned needed to disrupt what felt like an inevitable comeback from Burger Boys for that 10-10 scoreline. And
Remaining.
honestly,
Last
it felt like they
player
cleaned up their mistakes. They never took fights alone. After that mid-opening went the way of Burger Boys. The refights there, off of Shondex there, finding Tolo, super, super clean. Flipped the script, and Burger Boys, they got put off by it, right? They gave up their ace stronghold with that from the shadows, and as a result, the rotation gets called, and Sad, a beautiful mid-round and follow-through.
We talked about how Burger Boys are great at adaptation. Is there a chance they can have one more they can reach
Not
out from
this
their
fast.
arsenal? No?
You need a few rounds to mull it over. That's just a one-off. You should have won it. That's not a
no.
big picture thing that's wrong, other than maybe don't take the info, not the fights head on in the mid space. Have a plan, escape route, right? But all in all, for the time being.
But
buildings-
Zobi, is there a chance of overtime?
Oh, absolutely. There's always a chance of overtime.
But will we see it? There's a minute left on the clock. A flash is out. Nanners is forced to back away. Sad aren't playing as fast as they did last round.
I like that though. I mentioned one of the switch ups I wanted to see out of Burger Boys was to take that A main space if they couldn't stop the split or didn't want to play retake. They tried to that last time, they got punished by Style. This time they get out fast enough, but they got the information that they came for. They heard the re-clear through the one way. And now as a result, get our mini map back, you'll see that they're framed really strong around this A-hole. This is going to be live by the site, die by the site, because they have 3 here
30
instead of
seconds
1,
left.
instead of 2. And I hope it all comes together and they win it out.
Welly has 100 Fury. He's going to save that for the post plan. Bonnie can use Dimensional Drift, go behind Welly, and go for the backstab. But we need to see that play out with Practo having a Steel Garden in his arsenal. They're all still alive. Retro's good for 1. Style is gone. No more smokes to block out his angles. 12 seconds are left. The spike needs to go down. Killo's in a great position to avenge his fallen offer, but even that doesn't work. It leaves it to Practo.
Save it.
Doesn't use his ult, and he's got to face OT.
Egg, I said it. That was an all-in sight hold from Burger Boys. We kind of laid out all the options for them and how they wanted to address this A split, this A death ball that was how Sad got a comeback, I will say, in this early half, right? And got that firm lead. And again, they just circle back to another possible solution that You mentioned what's the adjustment? Can they make an adjustment round or out? They tried to, which was anchoring that site, and unfortunately, because the two players that don't have a rendezvous out fell so early, this round hasn't gone their way. This map might not go their way, as Sad's inevitably going to reach their 12th, and have to say might not even be able to save the rifle, but Bao not enough timing to counter to refrag Jerwin, and Corrode. I wanted to see the Corrode. We have not seen Corrode in a while out of Burger Boys. And if there's a timing where it's seeding for Sunday on the line, it's gonna be an insane map.
Yeah. And the way things are going now from SAD, they continue with their personal confidence and this pacing. I think it's a guarantee.
Oh.
Scanning ahead.
Better buy than I thought. 4 strong. I think we have the retro tour de force as well to complement. We're back to, okay, changing things up. Instead of a forward retro over towards mid, you have him fighting for B main control. So again, a very strong forward information-seeking outpost. In the meantime, SAD's similarly, again, just abusing the mid space off of their arch smoke. And you're even going to see a slow, silent scale up from Jerwin. They're framing themselves very, very well for a B split, and this all in this fixation for Burger Boys to fix their A site hold. Might just cost them this map.
Jerwin pushes off, uses the good old clone to help out for market space control. Shondax, though, looking for an opportunity inside tree off rotate. Meanwhile, Retro on the other side has opportunities to use his tour de force to hold down marketplace control. Door has been closed. Steel Garden has been abound. Full B-side control has been called. The tour de force falls down. Jerwin takes up that extra space. A shorty through the smoke may be good for at least one. Practice holding backside control, waiting for someone to push it forward. Dimensional Drift provides information. No push just yet. 30 seconds left. Bonnie in the backside, waiting for the push. Jerwin pushes. Practos takes down 2. Oh, is it enough? Welly pushes forward. A massacre. Nanners, last one left. 1v1. Welly, no information. Spike needs to go down. Nanners in a good spot to spray through the wall. Opts not to. Double-shotted step. Knife out. Not ready! It's Welly!
Direct and hunted.
Wow. 13-9 to send us to map 3 of Corrode, and honestly, Burger Boys played that super, super well. Dimensional Drift and all to try, and yet Cracto in that position to get a rifle in hand to hold off his utility. And it ultimately, I think, is a flashback to how they got massacred on the B side. They fixed that issue, particularly out of Jerwin playing for that market control. Then you didn't have these off-site influences like Tillo, like Bonnie, that could also spray down amidst those razor vines.